Say hello to the new Aston Martin Virage. Now, fans of the company may remember that name because the badge was used on their flagship 1980s V8 model. But now it's on the car that sits between the DB9 and the DBS. Under the bonnet you've got the same 6-litre V12 engine that you found in those existing models, but it's got 20 horsepower more than the standard DB9 and 20 horsepower less than the DBS. The styling is totally unique as well, so every panel is different from the DB9 except the roof and the windscreen, and there's lots of subtle detailing that gives this car a slightly more sporty edge, but it isn't quite as extreme as the DBS. So could it be the perfect GT car? Well, probably, but it has one problem.
The Mercedes SLS AMG. At nearly £170,000, it's a bit more expensive than the Virage, and while some people would argue it's not quite as stylish, it does have those stunning gull-wing doors. So which car is the best? To find out, we've come to a new test track in Blyton in Lincolnshire that's been designed to evaluate road cars. So let's kick off with the Aston.
So the new Virage sits exactly between the standard DB9 and the DBS, both in terms of price and performance. So let's see how it gets on with a lap around Blyton. So the first thing you notice obviously is that gorgeous V12 engine. The exhaust note is fantastic. It's got an automatic gearbox, but when you use the paddles in touch manual mode, you get a full manual control. It's not as fast on the upshift as some of the more modern double clutch systems, but it's fast enough, to be honest. And through these fast S's, you can feel how well the Aston changes directions. It's the same Aston really sharp front end that you find in all the Aston's current cars, which gives you lots of confidence as you turn into the corners. It comes as standard with ceramic brakes, so there's plenty of retardation into this tight chicane. And again, quite a nice blip on the downshift. Good traction as well. We're driving it with the stability control system fully switched off, but traction's really nice on the dry tarmac. Getting quite late on the brakes. Down to second gear. Turning into that lovely positive front end. And it's just a really sweetly balanced car, actually. And the thing with Aston is if you do get a bit greedy on the throttle and you get the thing sliding at the rear end, it's so well balanced. It's a very easy car to control as you get into oversteer. As you go through these fast S's, there is a little bit of sort of movement in the rear axle as the car rolls from side to side, but again, it's very controllable. It doesn't ruin the experience at all. Very engaging car to drive fast. Again, really low on the brakes, into the ABS, and again, you can see there by being greedy with the throttle, starting on lots of oversteer on the exit of the corner. Just a really beautifully balanced car.
Make no mistake, the new Virage is seriously impressive, but the SLS has more power, so can the Mercedes teach it a thing or two? Time for a hot lap in the SLS.
So let's do a lap in the SLS, and we've put the transmission into the manual setting, to the fastest gear change setting. We've got the stability control fully turned off, and we'll come around now and start a lap of Blyton. So you can see the track's quite narrow, and there's a big bump there as we come across the first section, turning into a tight left-hander. You can see how narrow the track is. And the thing that's amazing about the SLS is it's got loads of huge amounts of power, 650 newton meters of torque, and yet, even with the traction control turned off, there's quite a lot of rear grip. It's beautifully balanced. You can sense where the traction comes in, and then as you get on the power, using the gear change lights in the dash, straight line performance is absolutely stonking. Again on the brakes, quite a lot of dive on the braking, but it's very well controlled. Beautiful blip on the downshift with the gearbox, double clutch gearbox, that's really nice gearbox. And again, really good traction out of that tight chicane. Up to about 100 miles an hour now before we're braking hard with another left-hander. And you can see all the corners are not big, wide open racing track corners, they're actually nice, fairly tight corners that are really good for testing road cars. The turning on the SLS is amazing, so really positive. The steering's quite light, but there's loads of feel, great positive turning, and just stacks of grip. And if you watch with this fast chicane, the change of direction from left to right and back again is just amazing. Really hard on the brakes here at the end of the lap. Feel the ABS working. You see there, if you dial in loads of opposite lock, if you're really aggressive with the throttle, you can make it slide. It's beautifully balanced as it slides. Fantastic car. So which one's the ultimate GT car? Well, in truth, they're both the ultimate GT car, but we have to pick a winner. So which one would I go for? Well, I love the SLS, the drama of the doors, the sheer performance, and the occasion of that V8 engine. But if it was my money, I'd go for the Virage. It's just that little bit more engaging to drive. The interior feels that bit more bespoke. And most importantly of all, it wears the coolest badge in motoring. It wears an Aston Martin badge.